Out in the bed in kicks and shorts, right in her hand and she ready to shell down. Yeah.
And we're back within the spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so very much. You are in for a treat. Indeed you are, because this next group of young artists, and not so young artists, but artists nonetheless, is truly one of our top bands in the country today. You know them from Fantastic Fridays every month. The most exciting entertainment you will find down at the Hilton Hotel. And the name of the group is Visage. The leader of the group is Obi Pinling, my good friend for many a year. And he's as youthful as his young artist. So Obi, welcome to In the Spotlight.
Thanks for the flattery.
It's always good. Flattery gets you everything, man.
Everywhere.
You know that.
There's been too many years, you cannot admit.
That is true. But you're youthful because you hang around young and talented people.
That's right. And furthermore, I keep telling people music is the tonic.
No question about it. It gets you higher than any drug anywhere in the world.
Keeps you young.
Keeps you young.
Keeps your hair black.
Obi, I ain't got no hair, boy. But Obi, you recently took your wonderful group to Beijing, China.
Yes.
What was that experience for? I mean, we've been talking earlier in the show about the opportunities that exist in the Far East. But I believe none more than your group may have had that experience, because as a result of that, some of your music is now being played in China on China Radio International.
Yeah.
And I think it's a wonderful opportunity. Tell us a little bit, what was the experience like for Visage? And then we'll get into particulars with our other special guests. But first tell us, from a business opportunity, what did you see and what was the experience that you would have had there?
Well, first of all, before even traveling to China, one does a lot of reading and you know quite a bit about China. And the first statistic that everybody knows is the population of China. They always talk about 1 billion people.
Yes.
So when you're in entertainment and you're thinking about selling product, if you can sell to 1/10 of 1% of the population, or just in product, I mean, the numbers are just staggering. Okay? So to be able to have exposure in a market like that was truly an amazing experience for us. We haven't even gotten to the cultural differences yet, but just to travel on the other side of the world, being in an aircraft for 13 hours, and then landing in a different time zone, and then being exposed to a totally brand new, a totally different culture was truly awesome.
But like me, were you surprised of the modernization of China? I was totally taken aback. I mean, obviously, you said you did a lot of reading about it, but when you think of China, I looked at Beijing, and I say Beijing is New York on steroids. You're talking about 24 million people in this city, man, and the 5-star, 7-star hotels, the experiences that we've had, the historical history. I know some of your group had an opportunity to visit the Great Wall and people like Tiananmen Square and things like that. So from a historical perspective, it was a wonderful experience. But from a business perspective, the potential for Bahamian artists there. And we will talk about the reception that Visage had, because your artists did an incredible job. I mean, the 2 days that we were there, the day that they performed, the 2 days that they performed was truly electrifying. But from a business perspective, speak to us about that, because, I mean, you've been in this thing, as you said, for decades.
Anyone in the entertainment industry, and especially the music industry, we know that we're talking about a game of numbers.
Yes.
You record product,
yes,
and you try to sell as many units as you can. You try to have as many downloads of the music as you can. So when you're just looking at a country like China,
yes,
with such a massive population, the numbers are just awe-inspiring. Okay, but you talked about the shock and the surprise of, you know, Beijing looking like New York on steroids. Well,
right,
fortunately for me, I didn't have that shock experience, because I traveled to Asia on several occasions before. And we were in Beijing. Shanghai is even larger and greater, because Shanghai is the New York City
with respect to the entertainment and the attractions, I'm told.
Yes, and you remember Greg Douglas that used to sing with the band back in the 80s.
Absolutely.
Greg had a fantastic 10-year career over in Shanghai, performing all over China, but with Shanghai as his base. And he was always telling us about the massive potential. So for the band to have that type of opportunity to perform in that market, and in today's world of social media, media.
Yes.
The
Yes.
world is smaller. So the Chinese young people have smartphones the same way that the people in the West have smartphones, and we were able to have discussions with persons over there where our music is not being played on Chinese radio. That's a fantastic
I think
experience.
just incredible. So let's bring in two of these wonderful artists that were there with us.
Well, you know, my front line,
Yes.
that is what, who everybody sees, and
Let me tell
I'm
you.
proud of these young people, and
Yes.
they almost try to make me feel as young as they are.
Yes,
But they bring lots of excitement.
They're doing a good job at it.
Fantastic job.
And you had another fella who may show up a little later on, but you also had another fella who was not as young, but just as vibrant.
That's right.
But you have two wonderful artists here with you now. Let's have a chat with Wendy and Dyson. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to
Thank
the
you.
Spotlight. And you know, we saw you on that stage having a good time with your wonderful dancers. What was the experience like for you as artists?
Ladies first.
Look at that. Look at each other. Who's gonna go
Ladies
first? Wendy, why
first.
don't you go first?
So being on stage in Beijing was absolutely amazing for me. First of all, it was my very first time in Asia, very first time in China, and then being able to share share my music with an audience that has never heard it before, an audience that doesn't even speak the same language as me, but seem to enjoy it. It's truly the definition of music being the universal language.
Rest assured, they enjoyed it. I was
Yes.
there watching from
I
behind.
could see, yeah.
And you can see the
Their
reaction.
faces.
You feel the connection, whether the language barrier or
Yes.
not. You know they were connecting with you.
And
it
to
showed.
be able to communicate with them,
Yes.
people that are, you know, miles and miles away from my home, and be able to connect with them was actually just amazing. It's definitely going to be a highlight in my career. And just being in Asia, I mean, that's something
Right.
off my bucket list. I got to climb the Great
And-
Wall of
and-
China, so
Right.
yeah.
And to your right, the ever-ready bunny.
Yeah.
Energy perpetuated forever.
Yes, yes.
My boy, my friend, Dyson.
Thank
Tell
you,
us,
Mr.
man,
Munnings.
What was it like for you?
Of course, it was a wonderful experience. I guess what's most memorable about it is the way they responded to the music, the way they responded to the energy, the way that they even took part
Yes.
in some parts of the performance. I saw, I think it was the first performance we did, the first night we did the performance, and I was studying Mandarin, which Wendy laughs at me sometimes because she thinks it sounds
You did make
so
a few
funny.
utterances in
Oh,
Mandarin?
absolutely.
So you could tell us something now, other than Chi-Chi?
Oh yeah, you know, when I did the count off, I saw that
Yeah.
the Chinese people were very
Really?
surprised when I said san se.
Okay,
And you know, it's just
alright.
1, 2, 3, 4, let's
There
go.
you
And I
go,
saw
my
people
brother.
there was a reconnection at that point.
Directly, yes, yes.
And I can see that they appreciated that. And I think that we can do more of that. And I would love to do more of that, to connect with different places that have different cultures, and to do things that make them feel at home and make them feel welcome as we would want to feel. We should, as Bahamians, being such a small country, you know, in numbers, but being such a major hub for the rest of the world, we can do much more of that. And I think music is the key to reaching out across the entire globe.
Well, let me just share something with you. As a result of our visit in April of last year, I was appointed as Bahamas Cultural Ambassador to China, to People's Republic of China, for the year 2016.
Brilliant.
I went back again this year, and we are being pursued aggressively by agents there. And I will be reaching out to yourselves because that market want our music. I think that you are such an incredible, they were literally blown away. Because you see, a lot of the Caribbean artists, and we had some Caribbean artists there with us, their music is exciting. Reggae is exciting, soca is exciting. I think the combination of that Junkanoo rhythm, rake and scrape, and that fusion that we always talk about with soca and Junkanoo, they've never heard that experience before. So your music is literally playing in China as we speak. And so don't be surprised if you get a call soon to say, hey, listen, you want to come to China to actually do a gig. The first one was a cultural exchange, but this one will be in a professional capacity.
Yeah.
That is happening as we speak. And so I want to tell you that you did a magnificent job.
Thank you.
And the
Thank
reports
you.
I got from the embassy in Beijing are all favorable.
Thank you.
And they remembered Dyson and Wendy and Massage and Nehemiah and your group. I'm
Wonderful.
telling you. So I want to congratulate you officially and publicly, because I think it is experiences like that. And how important, OB, is that exposure for your young artists?
You know, I think it's extremely important because living in the Caribbean where we're located, everything to us is North America.
Right.
And we sometimes
But you
make that
always felt,
mistake.
you always told me we should go south.
Exactly.
I remember you telling me it's 20 years ago.
We
I'm
always
going
make
south.
the mistake of thinking
Yeah.
that the music business and the whole music world revolves around
I said we go
America.
east now. Let's go east.
You know, there's a big world out
Yes,
there,
yes.
and we spend so much time trying so hard to sell records in the United States or in Canada. Well, what about South America? What about Europe? What about all over Asia? What about China?
That's correct. What
You
about
know,
China?
I mean,
1.3 billion people,
exactly.
like you said.
Okay, you know, you've got Hong Kong, you've got Thailand, you've got Vietnam, you've got Thailand, all these countries over in there. If all we want to do is sell music.
Dyson, brush up on your Mandarin. Just trust me, they're coming. They're coming looking for you all. They're coming looking for the Massage and anybody else who wants to take advantage of it, because there's a big world out there, as you said. And I think that your music is truly incredible. It's a fusion, it's a brand, and I think that we should just pursue it aggressively. And so I want to thank you for coming by today, but I want you also to know that that market is waiting for us. So we need to pursue it, we need to take advantage of it, and I think that there's tremendous opportunities there for us.
It's a
So
business, and we welcome the opportunities every time they present themselves.
And I want to congratulate you too as individual artists, because you're doing a great job
Fantastic.
locally and internationally.
Thank you.
All right, Obi?
My
thank
pleasure,
you once
man. Thank
again,
you
my
for
brother,
having
as
us.
always. And maybe we'll come back and tell them when we would have confirmed some of these engagements. And
For
maybe
sure.
looking to the east.
For sure.
All right.
For
Thank
sure.
you so very
And
much.
beyond.
And beyond.
That's right.
And we'll be back after these words from our sponsors with more in the spotlight.
I never seen this kind of wine. Keep it up and you gon' make me fall in love tonight. Yeah, you ain't gotta leave here alone. Just one more wine